Hello and welcome to another Junk Journal Snacks episode. So a bit of a different intro today because I just wanted to show you where these beautiful leaves came from. So I just got back home and I immediately want to make a journal page to celebrate autumn. Let's open this roly-poly. And today I want to work on a specific page just because I think they will go well together. So I'm leaving a few blank. And it's this one right here next to this tree of life. So this is one of the few pages I actually have a plan of what I want to do. And I want to make a pocket with some of the leaves on top. And I also have a photo that I want to add with some journaling inside. But first I want to do something with this background. And I'm going to start with some stenciling. I have another beautiful grunge mask from Studio Light. This is what it looks like. It has the number SLGR Mask 51. I will do my best to link this in the description box below this video. I don't need all of it. I think I'll just try this one on top, and I don't have to go all the way to the bottom because we'll have the pocket here or tuck spot, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to use my jade green as I always do, and I will use a flat stippling brush. I'll do my best to just tap it instead of smearing it, but I find this really hard to do. And I already see that I can't do it. I have to move it sideways. Otherwise we'll still be here tomorrow. Let's have a peek and see if this method works. Yeah, it's smeared a bit, but I can live with that. Trying not to have too much paint on my paintbrush. That's not so bad. I've quickly dried this with my heat gun, and I have prepared a piece of, it's actually a book page, which is a little bit stiffer. And I already cut it down to the width of my pocket, and I'm going to put this here. This is what I'm going to adhere my leaves onto. And I have it this far up because some of my leaves are going to be bigger than others. And I want even the biggest ones to be adhered to cardstock because I'm assuming with time they will probably crumble. So actually first I should put a layer of matte gel. This is my favorite one. It's by Liquitex. And I'm just going to brush that on. And it dries very quickly, so I'm going to try to be quick about this. Then I'll take my leaf and I'll put it there and then put matte gel over it. And I'll do that with all the other leaves as well. And of course, I'll cut them off here on the bottom. I really like this one here with the hole. I think that's okay. So I need to thoroughly dry this. Once it's dry, I'm going to first of all cut off the bottom here with all these stems. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut all the white away around my leaves. And I think I'm going to ink the edges so I'm not worried about leaving some of the white showing. Then I will take my vintage photo Distress Oxide and go around the edges. And I'm really still inspired by our recent fast flow stitching collaboration, which was organized by Louisa Heinzel this year. And I want to do some crazy fast flow stitching on this pocket or tuck spot, just because it will add another dimension, and I think it will help to hold down these leaves because they don't seem to want to stick 100%, and I want to make sure they don't come off with time. I still have my red thread in from last time. So let's just see where it takes us. So I think this wasn't 100% dry yet. So my needle was having a bit of problems, but it was fine. It didn't get stuck and it's fine. But if you do this, maybe it's better to let it dry overnight. I don't want you to mess up your sewing needle. And next I want to add a bit of gold magic, but not with gold splatters, but with gold embossing powder. So what I'm going to do first is to spritz some water with my water bottle, especially around the edges. I think would be nice. Maybe a little bit in the middle. And now where I see that the puddles are big, I'm going to dab some of the water away with a kitchen towel. I don't want puddles. I just want enough liquid for the embossing powder to stick on it. So let's put that on a white paper. Let's add our embossing powder. So that has a little bit more than I wanted. So I can definitely still brush some off. And the rest I think is okay to emboss. I know it looks like a mess right now. This of course takes longer to melt because the surface is wet because of the water, but you see it did melt and it does have a cool effect. So I'm going to glue this on as a tuck spot, I now decided. So I'm only going to put glue on this side and here on this side. While I was on my walk, I didn't print while I was on my walk. I took a photo of these leaves that were on the ground and I printed these out at home. And I just cut them out, inked them up with vintage photo, and I want to use this as a journaling card. And I thought maybe this is a time that I can finally use one of these beautiful cards that I bought years ago at a craft flea market. And I'm hoping to find one, something like this color that will go with this blue. So there's this one, but it says to be continued. Yeah, we would see that, so that's not a good option. Ooh, there's this one, which is a little more green than that, but it would work. Oh, it says enjoy the little things, but I actually want the journal on the back. So if I use this one, I would have to cover up the back, which I don't really want to because I'm feeling lazy. So let's see if there's another option. This one has the perfect color, but it's folded. It has a crease here already. Oh, there's this one. Oh, that one would work. I could totally cover that. And I could maybe stamp autumn here and then journal about my walk. I think that's the best option. Yep, I like that one. So I'm first going to stitch around this photo, but I won't stitch it onto the card because I don't want the stitching showing on the back here. I went around it twice with my red thread and a messy stitch, and now I'm going to glue it onto that card. We had such a lovely walk. So one of the perks of living in this new apartment now is that I am very close to 3 of my closest friends. So that is such a great bonus for this apartment, because that means now I see them more often. And we do things that we usually wouldn't have done together if I was still living in the city. I mean, I'm still living in Vienna. Maybe it comes across that I'm living so rural now, which I'm not. It's still a part of Vienna, but it's just not as central as I was before. Okay, so now I'm just going to ink up these edges. Does it bother you if you have straight edges on one thing and then rounded corners on the other? Usually this would bother me, but I think I'm totally okay with that. So I'll just ink it up before I overthink anything. So the walk was in a little forest that I didn't even know existed. And I love getting to know new areas for walking. It's not a place where I could go on my own easily because I don't think it's accessible with public transportation. I don't have a car. And there were several moments where we just stopped in awe and just stared at the beautiful colors of the trees. It was really magical. I want to try my hand at embossing the word autumn on top here. And I love my clickable alphabet stamps, but you soon realize its limitations because, for example, there's only one U and autumn has 2 U's. I have to stamp the words separately, and I know these are pretty hard to align, so my chance of messing this up is pretty high. And yet I'm just going to go for it because, after all, this is a junk journal. So we're just going to do our best and hopefully it will not turn into a disaster. Because the thing is, it's going to be very hard to see where I have stamped. I'm just gonna go for it. So that's aught. And then I need to do amn. I can already see the second U is not aligned. Let's see what it looks like. It's okay, could have been worse. And this is what it looks like embossed. It's quite pretty. For the back side here, I found one of these quotes here. They're vellum quotes. I have no idea where I have these from. I've had them for many years. Probably got them locally. And I found one here that says, "Take me to the stars," which I think I could change to say, "Take me to the forest." And I can maybe emboss the forest again. Maybe put the "take me to the" up there and then forest here. Let me see if I have bigger letters maybe. Turns out these are my biggest letters. So we'll go with this. At least it's one word. And there we go. It's so pretty. Let's adhere this. Best thing is to use double-sided tape. So I just added a bit of journaling about our walk and how great it is that now that I live closer to my friends that we can have new experiences that we haven't had previously. So that can now live in here, but I think this is still a bit plain. So I want to add a sentiment here that I want to type out with my vintage typewriter. So I'm going to tear around that. So it says thankful and blessed. And I'm also going to emboss the edges with gold. Lots of embossing today. Going to take my Distress embossing pen. I love this thing so much. I never knew what I was missing until I had it. You can find these on Amazon, by the way. So I'm just going to go around my edges. And then let's add the embossing powder. So now we can add our final touch. So that's just one of many different ways you could capture autumn and put it in your journal as a memory. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.